some hell in the field of 68 network. I'm Pat Bradley. I got my boys in here. Kareem Reid.
What's going on? What's going on?
Secret. Guy Whitney. Kareem Reid Butler, as he's known on the streets of Harlem at the playground.
Right.
And RB2, Rich Bradley, everybody's big brother.
Everybody's big brother. Yeah,
Everybody's big brother.
That's autograph.
Kareem,
That's autograph. Only 300.
Kareem, did you
Only
really sign that?
300.
Be honest.
I gotta.
Yeah, that's my
fix this
signature.
somehow.
That's it. That's my signature.
Shvakin didn't sign that one?
Nah, Shabaka didn't get that. He got some still in his pocket.
There we go. And I got this one too. Let's see.
Oh, PB.
There we go. The dish once again.
The dish.
Dish.
Here's mine, Kareem. This is when I played in college.
Kareem, you're in Fayetteville right now, right?
Yes, I'm still in Fayetteville.
Did you have you got a chance to go any games, or just I know you
Yeah,
watched?
I went early. I went to watch the North Texas when we played North Texas at home. Watched them early on. I haven't watched them late.
Do you guys remember when we played North Texas at home? What happened? Coach Richardson got ejected, and North Texas stayed in a tight 2-3 zone, which forced me to shoot 24 threes that night. Kareem,
24.
Kareem,
I mean,
every time
somebody
had me like, damn.
That's
how many assists I had? If you shot 24, how many assists I had?
Well, I only made 10, so you probably had 10 assists.
There we go.
That must have been 99. That must have been your senior year. So I was actually in Everett when that game was played.
Laying tile. Shout out to Miguel. What's up, Miguel? Laying tile.
Right after the Florios.
The Floros. Fellas, let's get caught up with the Hogs right now. They are 4-3 in the conference, 14-5 overall. They just came off, as we're recording this Tuesday night, they just came off of a win, Texas A&M overtime on Saturday. That was a revenge game against Texas A&M. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, is at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They got Ole Miss tomorrow.
Yo, here's the thing about Ole Miss. The first thing I always think of, how many people on their team are from Arkansas and mad that they're not for the Razorbacks and know their whole family's watching.
Right.
And this team, 0. The team my senior year, Ole Miss had 7 dudes from Arkansas, and they all hated us worse than anyone.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I think of when we play them.
Still to today, I see some of those guys, they still hate us.
Of course. Of course.
But that team was made up of, they had a good team. They got as high as, I think, 12 or 10 in the country. But think about this. Mike White, head coach of Florida. Keith Carter, athletic director at Ole Miss.
Jason
Flanagan, who's a coach now in junior college. Anthony Boone, head coach at UCA Central Arkansas.
Jason Smith, Michael Boone.
Jason Harris, little swole. He's a coach too with Jason Harris.
And Hunter Carpenter.
All of them. They
came in with a real chip on their shoulder, and so I'm glad there's no Arkansans in the game next game.
Yeah, that get that chip on the shoulder. They're a good team though. They got to watch out. So Hogs start 0-3. Did you guys see anything in that 0-3 run? They were catching a lot of heat. I got my thoughts on it. Looking at and listening to Coach Muss. Check this stat out. In their losses, they gave up 83 points a game in all of their losses. Okay, so that was the Hofstra game. They gave up like 90 to start the SEC season. They gave 86 to Texas A&M. They gave up. So, and then in their wins, their best wins of the season, Kansas State, Cincinnati, and then this recent run, 58 points a game. The defense gave up 58 points. I mean, there's got to be somewhere in between. You can't be feast or famine. And that's what worries me about this team, fellas. I don't know if they got that consistent, like we can turn it on defensively when we have to. You know, I mean, you can do it for a couple games, but I don't know if they can continue to do that. I would say that's a big concern for me. Offensively, they seem all right. They don't shoot the three particularly well, but to get to the free throw line.
They sure do. And they make them.
They make them, yeah. And I think that was a strategy for Coach Muss. He wants to get to the free throw line. He actually thought they'd be a much better shooting team. He said, behind closed doors, we'd knock it. We'd kill it. And then when the bright lights come on, they haven't been able to. So I'm wondering if any of you guys saw something, even from a defensive standpoint, that they were able to do, or was it just prioritizing it?
I'm interested to see what they, to the upper echelon teams in SEC, the Kentuckys, the Auburns. Ole Miss would be a good challenge, and I wonder if they're going to step up to the plate, like I said, where teams that they should have dominated, they didn't dominate on the defensive end, I feel like, in the losses.
Right.
Where, we can't have that lapse against these Alabamas and Auburns and guys like that, with teams like that, where it's going to be a long night. It's going to look, and it was a big challenge for the LSU defense when we, went on the road and played some great defense against LSU.
Yeah, to Kareem's point, this team, the way they shoot it, they can't have defensive lapses, period. They have nothing to bail them out. You have a defensive lapse, you come down and you can hit a bunch of shots in a row. That can close the gap. That keeps the game close. The way they shoot it, you can't have a lapse in effort, a lapse in defense, a lapse in rebounding. Because like you said, against Alabama, Auburn, you're going to find yourself down 20 quick, especially with the way Auburn plays defense. That is one of the craziest defenses I've ever seen in college. These guys are blocking threes like you can't even take a regular spot up three on that team. It's crazy.
And Auburn's they're too deep at every position. Like their second five could put together another SEC team.
Look, you can talk about defensive things. You can talk about rebounds and free throws. But when I think about late January, and I think about, I take myself back and what's it like when it's the end of January and going into February, why do some teams all of a sudden collapse? Why do some teams all of a sudden get hot and they're so much better than they were 2 weeks ago? And it's not something you can find in a box score. It's about, for me, I probably watch the game differently. Me and Rich probably watch a basketball game differently than Kareem and Pat. Like, you guys started for 4 years and you guys knew you were going to be in the game every game. And that's a different mental headspace than guys like us that were coming off the bench. It's a lot of ups and downs. You're usually frustrated. Like our careers, they end. We were frustrated more than we were happy. You know what I mean? We always wanted more. And when I think about our team in 98.
You guys don't know what it is going into a game being cold after warm-ups 45 minutes ago.
That's what
I'm saying? We had to run a suicide just to get warmed up when we checked in.
It's true. But when I think about, when I think of the 98 Razorbacks, dude, we were so much better than going out in the second. We were even better than our Sweet 16 team in 96. On paper, we had everything. We had 3 dudes you couldn't guard in the starting lineup, you two and Derek. What happened to us? And I think what happened to us mentally, we peaked at this time of year. And if you remember, Pat, on your first podcast, I said, this team's going to lose in December. We're going to lose early, but we're going to peak late. Mm-hmm. And I think guys like Trey Wade and some of these super seniors are partly why. But I don't think we can tell what's going to happen based on what's already happened, because we don't know what's going on in that locker room. Has this team bought in? Are they together? We don't know. We're going to find out.
Right.
I will say, quick Pat, what I've been saying though, they are not going any further in the tournament without shooting than they did last year. This day and age, you have to hit gotta hit shots. Look at the teams that win.
No,
You're
I know.
not winning hitting twos.
So last year, I just remember like the 2 LSU games. They played one LSU game. I think they made something like, I got to look this up, but it was maybe like 15 threes or just insane, or 12 threes they made. The next
Dude,
LSU
they didn't hit one. Dude, they lost the record. Dude, they hit 1 3 the other night, dude.
Unbelievable.
Dude,
Third,
that
right?
hurt,
That was
man.
third all time,
Hey,
right?
That hurt. That hurt bad.
I can be honest
Third
with you,
longest streak.
you know what hurt just as much is none of them jokesters even knew or cared.
Dude.
Like that,
cared.
guy, I think what you said was awesome. It connects 2021 with 1989
89.
or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. It connected us all. We were all part of this. We were
Right.
all part of that streak. That was our streak. You know, that was all those teams' streak and all those fans that saw it. So you needed to know and you needed to care. That's all I'm gonna say about that goddamn streak.
And it's going to be tough having to make like 35 free throws every game instead of
Depending on the officials when it comes down to that too. I mean, you know, you don't always have Superman Kareem Reid that can finish with 7 people draped on him.
well,
You know what I mean?
well, and the thing too, Rich, is so our highest volume free throw shooters, Note and Chris Likes. And Chris Likes he's a high percentage free throw shooter. You saw what at the end of the game, he struggled a little bit. As much as I always say, free throws are the highest percentage shot you can get, unless you get a wide open layup. But you know, a 3-point shot, a great 3-point shooter is 40%. A great big man in the paint shoots 60%. I mean, you can have an average free throw shooters at 75, 76%. Never mind. So they're a good shot. But it's a different animal. Like being on that line, I always said, Kareem, I don't know if I said this to Bob Holt. He's doing a story on free throw shooting. Kareem, I'll look it up right now. Kareem might have been I don't know what you were free throw wise over your career. I'm going to say you were probably high 70s for your career.
78.
But I want somebody to do the math for me. Under 2 minutes, under 3 minutes, whatever they consider clutch. You were 95%.
Absolutely.
Am I wrong, Guy? You remember thinking to yourself like,
Absolutely.
or 100%. I don't know if your mentality changed, Kareem, in the end of the game situations, but you weren't 78% under 4 minutes. It was
Right.
I guess at the end of the game, you know, it meant something. During the game, I might have been talking crap to people and stuff like that, not focused on free throws. And then at the end, I was focused.
So to that point, Musselman Coach Muss talked about, he mentioned this year, like a leadership question. And there's one thing, Kareem, I'm sure you heard it this year. Everyone says, where's the point guard? Where's the point guard? Lack of point guard. So how important is that for this team? They don't have that. I mean, they got short guys, but they don't have point guard mentalities.
Yeah. And I guess, like I said, is, you know, before I answer that one, Rich said it, like, how you're going to put it in official hands every day to get to the free throw line? That's not going to work against them dogs, Alabama and Auburn. They're gonna punch you in your face and all that. You know what I'm saying? And then we're looking crazy because we're not gonna get back on defense. We worried about the foul, so it's gonna be hard for, you know, if we got to get that mentality. And
Right.
like I said, we talk about being who's the leader. Even, you know, I guess the point guard always supposed to be, which we don't have one, right? And then we don't have older Elsman. They're going to say anything to these guys. These guys probably got their own agenda. So it's not, you know, that's where it hurts in college basketball, I think. Not just in Arkansas, where upperclassmen can't really say nothing to freshmen or whatever, stuff like that, because most of these freshmen are only there on borrowed time.
Well, I'd say, you know, and starting around this time is when you see someone emerge. Like last year around this time, if you think of two people that I really miss, Justin Smith and Jalen Tate.
Yeah, yeah.
They really seemed different. By the time the tournament started, they just felt like men or something. Like I just felt so safe with them on the court, and we don't have that personality yet, but it's going to emerge in February, or not.
Well,
or not.
And I got a basketball IQ question for Kareem, since you brought it up. The point guard is more obviously than just, Kareem, you're someone where no one had to worry about if the team threw a trap on Arkansas, they weren't going to trap you guys for long. You could handle it, break it, but you knew certain points of the game what you had to do. So what's your approach? If you were talking to this team, I mean, you're getting guys open shots when your team needs, like you said, you can't depend on the officials. You need to get open shots sometimes. I mean, what was your approach in, how would, when you had to start doing that during the game?
I guess sometimes in certain different parts of the game, I had to maybe calm it down, or let's get Pat a shot. You know what I'm saying? We might need something from Guy at that minute or whatever, to keep them, I guess coach always talk about, putting money into something. You get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? So putting confidence in Pat, let's keep shooting, or Guy, I need that hustle play or something like that. So, so that was in me trying to get them the ball, assist, Guy, in open court or whatever, Guy running up, let's pass it. In practice, starting in practice where we're getting some continuity off the court also. Where,
I remember the thing Kareem would always tell me in practice was, Guy, get in the game. And, I'm in the game, I'm running up and down, but he was like, no, Guy, get in the game. Like you're playing too much like a role player right now, and I need to get in the game. And he would say, like, oh, that's all I needed to hear, baby. And it just makes you hit that lane even more, because Kareem wants you in the game. He's gonna throw you an alley-oop if you just run. Sorry about that.
And that's the leadership. That's the leadership right there.
Yeah, that's leadership.
Rottweiler out.
Yeah.
And that's like the Rottweiler. Let him go, Guy Whitney.
Yeah.
There you go, Guy Whitney.
Yeah.
Was that something natural, Kareem, that you learned in New York City? Just that because you can't really teach it. You almost gotta learn it over a period of time. Because you didn't just show up on campus with that mentality.
No, and I guess learning it from, I guess going to the high school that I went to, I guess growing up in the AAU process or whatever, and then playing with, tons of guys, with the Riverside Hogs, and for yourself, BABC, playing with the top guys in your area. So you wanted to win. And that was my whole thing, is I wanted to win so bad. And I know it's a team sport, especially I would need them to look better. I can score, when it came down to it, but learning how to, growing up, and Magic Johnson was my favorite player. So I seen the smile that he brought to the game, the charisma, and, getting everybody in the game, and, the Showtime era. So it was more where, the team, it was all team, back in the day, the Boston's, the legends, the legacy of the Boston Celtics, so teams like that, for the basketball that we watched, like God said, we watched basketball through a different lens than other people. So basketball.
I think a lot of people forget my redshirt year, the 94-95 year, they forget that Kareem was on campus. He was supposed to be on that team, but there was some sort of paperwork issue, and you had to sit and watch that team play all year. And I wonder now, when you think back to the 94-95 team, are you still like, oh, we would have won the national championship if I would have been playing? Or do you even think about that season?
He does your Tom Brady year, man. You're the rookie quarterback sitting there watching.
Cameron Dollar would have been.
I always think.
Yeah.
I always think about that guy because of, look at this right now. They win it one year, right? We come back and win it another year if I'm playing. Then our third year, if Scotty and Corliss come back, that's 3 in a row. That's what I think about, not just that, come on. If we return them freshmen and that team that we had 95, 96 with Corliss and Scotty.
Right.
Where it would have been able to put Donnell and Lee Wilson in their place. You know, we were freshmen. You know,
Well, Colas leaves, right? He's a lottery pick. You understand that. But even still, you know, you have Sunday Adebayo, Jesse Pate, Scotty decides to come back. You know, I think, whatever he feels about that now. But even that 96 team with Jesse, Sunday, Scotty.
In 96, let's face it, we really needed Darnell Robinson to be our leader, and he didn't want to be. In 97, we needed Lee Wilson to be our leader, and he didn't want to be. But if one of those guys from those teams would have stayed, they would have been different. They didn't want to be the leader because they felt like, man, our whole team is gone. Remember, Darnell felt like, I don't even know this locker room. We were all new in 96. You know what I mean? Like, all his boys were gone, and he couldn't wait to get out of Arkansas. Remember? No shade. I love that dude.
You know what's funny, guy? I don't know if Kareem feels this way, though. Like in 99, when you guys left, it was just me, Kareem, and Derek. And I look down and I go, these guys, these are 18-year-olds. I don't know any of these dudes.
And you know how they felt. Yeah, you know how they felt then.
Know how they felt. It's funny because one of my teammates in France called me. He was a pain in my, in my a-hole. But he was a rookie. And I'm Pat, like I said, I'm 34 at this time, right? Coming to a new country. And having the success I had, and him coming as a young kid that grew up in the club team, and he thought he was gonna be passed the torch. And I'm talking my junk, I'm doing this, I'm being Kareem or whatever. So we used to get in so many arguments and stuff like that. And I used to be like, this young guy, your kid don't understand. He reached out to me, long story short, about a month ago and apologized so much to me. He was like, yo, you was just being, I apologize. And now he's going through it.
Because he became you. Yeah, he became me. You get it later. You get it later.
That's the same thing Kyrie said, right? That's the same thing Kyrie said when he left Cleveland.
Right.
He's like, I didn't realize that pressure.
Right.
While he was playing with LeBron, he thought it was different.
I don't know about you guys, but I watched the game today, and where most teams, if not all of them, at least have a little bit of two guys in the corner, high ball screen. Nobody could run it. Can you imagine, Reem? Like,
oh my God.
Can you imagine, like, coming off that high ball screen? Like, even like I could, it'd be filthy devastating, man. It would just be probably one of the most devastating from your point guard's position. I can't think of too many. I'm thinking in the SEC, if we have a point guard like that. It's funny, the Kentucky point guard, Kareem, Xavier Wheeler, because he's 5'10" and lefty, people try to compare him to you, and he's fast. There's not.
It's funny because
he's, no disrespect to him, but you're a McDonald's All-American, All SEC. You almost invented that position. When you look back at what guards, left-handed short guards do, I'm sure Kenny Anderson, all those guys. But man, from what I saw you do.
It's crazy because his dad and I grew up together.
Oh, really?
In New York. I didn't even know until last year who his dad was. People were telling me about, about his dad or whatever, having a son that's coming up in basketball or whatever. And through, my basketball, last couple of years, me being so caught up in certain other things, not tapping back up into New York or whatever. Like I said, he left New York at a young age. And when he was at Georgia last year, John Linehan had reached out to me when they were here and told me who dad. By the way, John said you and him talking about me the other day.
Yeah.
Linehan, Pat. But yeah, his dad and I played when we were 11, 12 years old at Young Life, our AAU team. So
is his father lefty too?
No, his father's not lefty. So it was
this kid is a great player. I don't want to, but it's like, comparing one of the greatest to that. I mean, he's fast. He's a dog defensively. The one I say this comparison all the time is Xavier Wheeler can disrupt a game and have an effect on a game from a defensive end, how he harasses the opposing point guard, just like Kareem. You remember that UNLV game in '97? The entire UNLV backcourt was in tears because Kareem kept switching. They would throw it here, he'd go and steal it from him. He tried to pass it here, Kareem was already there. It was like a one-man press. Yeah. And so Xavier is like that. So I'm not trying to, throw any shade, but it's Xavier plays fast. The issue is, I think you were a much better finisher in the rim. Xavier has had good shooting nights.
Good shooting nights.
A lot of comparison. It's funny you actually knew his father, but it's for Kentucky to make a Final Four run. He's gonna have to play his best basketball, there's no doubt.
Yeah, man, I like Ty. I like Ty, but Auburn guys, like we were talking about, Auburn got some goddamn dogs.
Yeah.
And then of course Alabama, I love Quigley and what's the freshman kid with the yellow hair, the Afro pack?
J.D. Davison, yeah.
J.D. Davison, he's
yeah.
Everybody's good, and every night somebody plays somebody you never heard of comes off the bench and plays the best game of their life. So it's just way more unpredictable than I think in the analysis complex we like to admit. Like there's just so many things you cannot predict. Everyone's good.
But you can either make shots or not make shots.
Right.
And that's always my biggest concern. My biggest concern was Arkansas. Because the game is you're going to be coming up against teams that are shooting 30 threes.
Chris, think about that. They would have lost Texas A&M in overtime if Big Jalen Williams, the 6'10" center, doesn't come broken play and make a jump shot. Like you lose that game if he doesn't make that jump shot.
Right.
Before we move on, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at BetRivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up for BetRivers yet, now is the time because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, it's more secure, and it's more reliable. Now that basketball season is tipping off, get in on the action at betrivers.com today or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. You must be 21 years or older. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And while I got you here, let's talk about the Field of 68 Media Network, where college basketball matters most all year round. This is a digital media and podcast network that we've been building over the course of the last year. We have shows hosted by some of your favorite players covering the program that they love the most. AJ Guyton hosts the House of Hoosier. Eric Devendorf covers Syracuse on the Scorer's Table. Dan Dickow hosts the Gonzaga Bulldog broadcast. We have Florida's Patrick Young and Duke's Andre Dawkins and North Carolina's Shammond Williams and Michigan's Stu Douglas and Illinois' Deion Thomas. The list goes on and on and on. We have more than 30 shows right now. So hit the links below and check them all out. And while you're at it, make sure that you go check out the Field of 12 Media Network, your home for college football.
But I'm talking consistency. You know what I mean?
We're going to depend on, Jalen for taking charges and stuff like that and getting to the free throw line. For real, Pat.
I'm going back
those guys are dunking it.
Charges.
Yeah, we're going to have to stand up. Remember a couple of years ago with that same thing with Coach Anderson team. When we're supposed to have that rebound against North Carolina, it's certain things in the
that call that was a charge and a walk.
Yeah,
that was a charge and a walk. We win that game.
But we went.
Hey, we're
right back in it.
Well, we're talking about getting screwed. How about how we got screwed against Utah when they shut the game down for 10 damn minutes?
The lights for 10 minutes.
That was the moment. That was definitely the moment.
How about they screwed us in '97 against Georgia? We were going to win the SEC tournament, win the national championship, and then the NBA championship.
I'm going to throw this laptop out the window, Pat.
And remember that time when our keys wouldn't work in the hotel room and we was going missing Starkville?
Right, I remember that.
Remember that? Oh, my God.
Hey, we did. The one time, you guys remember?
Remember, Pat? Remember the $1 million night we had, guy,
Which one?
in New Orleans?
Oh,
We
yeah.
lost. Coach said,
I
charge it to the
remember
room.
flashes.
Coach said, charge everything to the room.
Oh yeah.
we had
Dude,
2 hamburgers.
that was just
Everybody
gluttonous.
2 ribs.
That was just gross.
Remember Ali get, I never seen nobody get fired in the air. He got
Yeah,
cut
he got
in the
kicked
air
off
on the way
the
to
team
Puerto
on the air.
Rico. He got kicked in the air.
But then got back on the team on the way home. He
Yeah.
landed in Puerto Rico with per diem and nothing to do. He was in the casinos the whole trip.
Remember he
On
was
the
on the
way
beach.
home, he apologized and he's back on the squad.
If any college coach out there and you want to know why you shouldn't take your team off the mainland,
remember Ali beat up Notes. God bless the dead.
Man.
Who was on that plane? Y'all wasn't on the plane with me that day?
No, I heard about it. I wasn't on that plane.
Oh man. Notes was crying over a seat.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it and feeling like, oh, Notes is going to take this out on me.
Now we lost to Tennessee at 11 in the morning. We flew back from Tennessee.
At 6 a.m. practice, yes. Yes, I do. That was part of our collapse. Because I remind you, my friends, we were 20-3. We were 20-3, and we lost our last 4 road games to teams that weren't as good of us. So what happened?
Georgia,
what happened?
right? Georgia, we lost to Georgia, I think, on the road.
Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, and Ole Miss in that order.
Yeah.
The what?
I can tell you why.
All right, you tell us. And one thing though, I remember Coach Richardson saying after we lost in that Olds game, he goes, "Damn, Nick Davis, he done just petered out. He done just petered out in the damn season."
That was definitely an aspect of what happened. The only reason our team ever lost was when we played without joy.
Yeah,
because we had it all.
We were.
Just think about that Puerto Rico team. The team right after the championship years. There was something hanging in the air.
Yo, we lost to the University of Puerto Rico.
I know. And why? And why? Because it seemed like we were always in trouble for something. It seemed like we were always in trouble,
Get on the line.
Not knowing why. And it was because we're not the national championship team.
Get on there, line.
We were always mad at ourselves. We were always like, and we came to some of those games without joy. You know what I mean?
Get on the line.
It's the only thing missing from us.
The other thing that didn't help though in Puerto Rico was some of the guys took their per diem and took it to the casino in the hotel instead of taking it to get some food.
That's not why that didn't affect us. That makes us play better.
That didn't affect that.
They were going to win it. But the thing with
that, you know what's funny? That was a day game. Puerto Rico was a day game. So that night I was at a tournament, Pat. I saw Leo Papil, the guy who was ahead of BABC, and he was with the Celtics after. And Pat didn't hit a 3, so his 60-game streak was broke. And you guys just lost to Puerto Rico. And I saw Leo, and Leo said, it's Puerto Rico.
Pat didn't play in the first half. He was suspended because he showed up 10 minutes late for the bus because you went and got something to eat. Romeo was suspended the first half, but this is my point. It was Christmas. We were undefeated. We were 11th ranked, and we were all looking at each other like we were in trouble. We should have been having fun. We would have killed everyone if we were having this much fun.
We got in trouble on the plane over there. That's what happened.
Oh, remember I showed up.
We were in trouble that morning before we even went. We had practice that day.
We had to practice, and I'm like, I'm hungry.
We had to wear our suits. I could break this all down. Trust me. I can make a movie out of this, and I might.
The one thing about that casino in Puerto Rico, though, not only did they give you. That was Tang Lam trying to call me on the other line. Not only did they give you drinks, but they gave you free ham sandwiches.
No, they gave you free ham sandwiches.
Me and D good.
They thought it was a drink when you first ordered. They're like, "What's in a ham sandwich?" They were like, "Ham and bread, man." They thought it was like a flaming Dr. Pepper or something. What is a ham sandwich? That was like, jam bone and bread.
Guy, one of the great things, the last loss of every season is obviously, because seniors are moving on and everybody's broken up and crying. But our senior year, we lost to Iowa. We were up 10.
I know.
Up 10 against Iowa.
We lose.
I thought it was 15.
Coach Richardson, we're in the locker room. Everybody's crying. Coach Richardson goes, "Pat, Kareem, Derek, come here." We go in the bathroom. Remember Kareem?
Yes, before we went to the media.
Pulls out a knot. Hundreds. Thanks, Phil. We were done by then.
Get yourself some chicken wings.
Fine. Hey, get yourselves home, okay? Yeah. We're on next season.
Yeah.
Gotta love him.
Yeah, no question. You guys we gotta go plan just to go see him. Let's not worry about having to go to all the games and the practices, and just make sure we go and just spend a few hours with him and on the ranch. And Miss Rose is still battling through. So
can we get Tariq Wallace there? I haven't seen Tariq Wallace since 1998. Where the hell is he?
Man, so
Kareem moving in with Tariq.
I want to drop some news. Yeah, I'm moving to Virginia, man. Me and Tariq is collaborating on a prep school, man, prep academy.
I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, so I've been spending time down there.
I said, hey, man, he's my next highlight video that I'm making. I'm making TWA.
We will. I will.
I love that dude. That's who this team needs. If they had Tariq Wallace, just Tariq, they would be sweet.
He was underrated in Razorback history, man.
Y'all do think we could beat this team, right? Y'all think the 98 team could take this team?
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Now, we definitely had a combination. First of all, and I'm not just saying it because he's here, but when you got somebody, Rich, you talked about it, like that could break a press on their own, that
never gets tired.
Never. If you need shot, he could get his own shot at the rim, or he could penetrate, draw somebody, get somebody else a shot. But then on the other end, if he wanted to, like Kareem, if you wanted to, you could prevent anybody from getting where they wanted to start the offense. It's like, as this is coming apart, life is good, fellas. Life is real good. I'm falling apart. But I'm saying,
that's that when you use the coach shirt. That was your coach's shirt and the TBT. That was the coach's shirt and the TBT.
Yeah. But when you had somebody that could do all, he was just the most dynamic guy, right? Gabe, because we were all sort of one-dimensional. Yeah. Whether it's we had a lot of guys that could do one thing really good, but I think Kareem was dynamic, and Tyreek was dynamic too. Tyreek was also dynamic.
Yeah, he could do everything. Yeah. And I gotta say this for you three, Derek, Kareem, and Pat. The fact that y'all played 4 years without no one got hurt. None of y'all got hurt.
That's true.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I missed one practice. No, actually 2 practices. Stomach virus and I twisted my ankle. I mean, I was still there, but I just didn't practice.
Yeah.
I guess mine came from missing the plane coming back from New York after Christmas break. Saying it's snowing.
Right. I think I got a few more minutes because of that. Thank you, Kareem.
It was, and I remember I did miss another half of a game because dang Fernandez West ratted me out for being late to a class. So coach was like, son, son. So he sat me out.
Man, I used to hate that. Yeah, suspended. They suspended the whole first half. Remember he started. We went on a streak where he stopped me. In fact, he gave up on us.
That was
senior year. Your senior year.
That's when Coach hated us.
Okay, I vaguely remember that. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really watching that year because the first year after you're gone, you need to think about something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Very true. You know,
Yeah,
that's
I feel like 3 enough games.
it's weird. I don't know if you guys felt like this, but even my senior year, I almost felt like the coaches were kind of getting sick of me, and I was kind of getting sick of. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you spend a lot of time with
This
people.
is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Why do really talented teams sometimes don't get past the second round when a team like the 2021 Razorbacks make it to the Elite Eight? It has to do with something off the court. It's your mind. It's everybody being together and playing for the same things. And that's hard to quantify. It's hard to make a formula out of. It has to do with personalities, really.
Right.
You're right too, and it's also matchups. Don't
That's
forget
true.
about matchups.
It's also matchups.
Because I think Arkansas ran into some good matchups last year, right? Weren't there a few upsets that ended up coming down their bracket?
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Tulsa.
And they played against
Tulsa, yeah.
like a Texas Tech team who they that was sort of a low scoring, grinded out.
Yeah.
They good matchup
And
type.
Justin Smith and Jalen Tate played like some men.
Yeah.
Wasn't scared.
Yeah, they stepped
They
up.
weren't scared at all.
They stepped up.
I mean, you
So
got
that's what I'm saying. We're looking for, but that same thing when we talk about Devo Davis. He wasn't. I remember he couldn't scratch the court, and we put him in. Musselman. It was said that he's like, man, I need this, and it was like, well, Devo is the person that's gonna give you all that, and you know, the next with 16 games. Remember they went on that run after that Auburn game.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
20.
Devo Davis. Yeah, I forgot about him. And he's a guy who can do so many different things.
Yeah, he's exciting.
You know, he can get up and down the court. He can rebound, defend, finish. He was doing a lot of that.
Unselfish.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of that. And he's lefty.
You know,
All you lefties stick together, huh?
but it's kind of tough too when we talk about it too. I guess we talk about some of these teams, and it goes back where now it's just open field, NILs and all that. So we went like 3 months ago and talked to some of the guys on campus, and I told Musselman, I wish y'all luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, just imagine if we could have made some money for NILs and all that. Like, what you gonna tell a kid about class or something? He got 100,000 in NIL, or
you know what I Devo Davis and Jalen Williams? Said, fellas, we didn't have to work to get that money. You guys got to work.
Yeah.
They just gave it to him back in the day.
Yeah, like $40. That's all. Like
yes,
$40 in 4
hey,
years.
and we were eating good, guy, off that 40. Double order of chicken nuggets at Wendy's. Come on now.
And if we would have had that now, I would be such a whore.
But here's the thing, though.
I have a different shirt on every day. Easy Mart, Pizza Hut, whoever.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, that I don't know what we would do, because the demands. So, like, it's an exchange of services. So, like, Devo Davis gets paid because of NIL to do radio interviews, but on game day, I wouldn't be comfortable. Like, I'm trying to get ready for the game. Somebody Walmart calls me to do a photo shoot. I'm like, dude, I got to get my mind. You know how we work.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm surprised to hear that, actually.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying with that, Pat. How can you focus on, or if Coach Musselman or Coach anybody is screaming at you, and Walmart just called to make this commercial that they're gonna get 60,000, like,
right?
You know.
Well, think about how competitive and jealous amongst
other people could be among
think about our team. On the bench, we had basically these clones: Ollie Thompson, Landis Williams, Sunday, me, all on the bench, all knowing whenever someone is a little weak, that's my time to be a little strong. Now factor in, what if Ollie Thompson has a really good deal and Landis doesn't have a deal? How does that affect the chemistry of the team? You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole bunch of new challenges, I would imagine.
And you know, one other funny story is I got a phone call from a business, and the guy had said, listen, we did a commercial with a basketball player, and it went well, you know, exchanged, you know, we paid him. He goes, and we called doing another one. Within that period of time, there was a lawyer who started acting as his agent, who started to and said, not enough money. So the business owner came to me and said, listen, we can't afford, would you want to do it?
We can't afford him anymore.
I'll do it.
What about you?
I love it. Yeah. Wow.
So the dude was like, man, I'm just worried that, you know, some of these kids are losing out on a little bit of pocket change because of an adult that's giving them. I'd be like, do what you can do that is less stressful, even if it's $1,000 to do a commercial. Like, you want 5?
Hey, listen, you got to watch when we had Fat Joe on Drink Champs, Kareem's boy Fat Joe, and he was talking about when they were getting $10,000, $15,000 to perform, and then Jay-Z started charging $100,000 in private jet. And it changed. And that was the market, because there were people that didn't do it, but you know what? That opened it up. He was doing less, but he was getting more. So it's all a perspective. You know what I mean? It's all a perspective.
But he could handle that. Jay-Z was an adult making those decisions. These are 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Not to say that they're not adults, but they're not meant. I don't. There's a lot of learning that goes on with that. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone has a business mind like Jay-Z, be able to perform.
But what if you do 3 1,000s or you hold on for 1 5,000? Who you're making more and you're working less.
At that age, I just want to be in a commercial. You know what I mean? At that age, I'll do 10 for 200 each. Like,
you want to walk in
G-Pac. You know what I mean? Like,
G-Pac, these kids are different now, G-Pac. These kids are different.
Yeah, sure.
They're all over everything already.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe.
That's part of their recruitment package. Part of their recruitment package is
they're
going to get 500,000 followers.
500,000 followers.
See, and that's
you got a $500,000 NIL deal before you even get on campus because it's already in place at some of these universities.
That's crazy.
I ain't gonna say no universities, Kentucky, but you know,
right, Kentucky. Well, we should be right in that arms race now. I mean, with the Tyson, Walmart, hunt money around there, it's time to just start buying players.
It's time for the powers that be, like, even with like the football side of things, like paying coordinators has always been an issue. I know, like, Coach Billum has always talked about that. Like, it's time for Arkansas, whether it's the administration, whether it's the big time boosters, to stop and say, well, let's pay like Bama pays our coordinators. Let's pay, because you got the money. Put up or shut up. Like, you want to be a top 10 team, top 5 team, put up, stop complaining. You say you got the spend it. I don't care how the coach pays. It's monopoly money at this point.
Most of us don't play in the NBA, so I just want these guys to get as much money as they can, because it's going to end, and you might be washing dishes like I did, you know, even with a college degree, just because, you know, that's how life is.
And another thing too, and we'll finish unless you guys got anything else, but Guy, to your point, maybe it's not about the cash that you get when you do these NILs. To me, it's about the relationships, to where maybe you do a commercial for a law firm, or you do a autograph signing for an engineering company or and it's that networking. When you're done playing in Iceland or Denmark or France, 2 years later, you come back and that's already a business relationship you can pick up where you left off, you know?
Absolutely. That's real life experience.
Right.
Yeah.
That you can network. So.
Well, I will say in closing that if you're going to call it Nolan Richardson's court, why not paint it like Nolan Richardson's court?
Hey, this is Guy's mission, fellas. He wants.
I'm on a mission.
I know.
I'm on a mission. I know I'm nobody. I ain't gonna make nothing happen. But you know what I mean.
Start a signature thing, Guy. I'll sign it right now. Start one of them signature things.
We named it Nolan Richardson's court, then painted it like one of his sweaters.
Put polka dot.
I don't know. Just what I think.
I love it. All right, fellas, man. Appreciate it.
Kareem, man, good to see you, dude.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, man.
Tyree.
I will.
Hey, let's try to do it again, man, in a few weeks.
Yeah, this is the good
Absolutely.
time, right? It's about to start the good part, February and March.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Kareem. We'll put him in one of these boxes next time.
Yeah.
I will. Yes.
Yeah. And you should talk to Reggie Merritt sometime, Pat.
Yeah, I gotta get Reggie on. Reggie, great perspective of, like you said, playing with
He played
Todd.
with all three major generations of the 90s.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
crazy. Yeah.
get the shop in the studio.
All right.
Good job. Congrats. Good luck, Kareem. Good luck with
Thanks,
Virginia.
Thanks. I'll be in touch.
All right.
See you guys
Up.
later.
Tear the club up.
Tear the club up.